So it happened, and it happened immediately. Ghoulies 4 from 1994, so this is, again, straight direct-to-video, and directed by Jim Wynorski, who, this is the only thing that gives me any type of faith that I'll enjoy myself with this movie after the last one, Ghoulies Go to College. So, I mean, Jim Wynorski has done so many cheap, low-budget movies over the years, and a lot of spoof movies, but he did Sorority House Massacre 2 and 3. He did Chopping Mall. It goes on and on and on with him. So that's the only thing giving me hope here, because I feel like this is going to be painful. I've never seen it. I can't even give you a plot synopsis. But I assure you, ghoulies will be summoned in some stupid way. And then chaos will ensue and people will be freaking out. Then they'll have a big creature at the end. And it's going to end up being banished with the rest of the ghoulies, but then they'll probably hint maybe that they're still back. But we never got a goddamn ghoulie movie ever since, so I think they're gone for good maybe after this. So let's talk Ghoulies 4 from 1994. Alright, so we have this opening. It's not bad, and it involves some girl who's just in real tight leather, whole bodysuit, so that's never a bad thing. And she's talking to somebody. I think I read quick when I was looking into this movie, because I wanted to see if John Carl Buechler did the effects, which he did not. Which I'm sure he had much better things to do at that point. But I wanted to look into it, and I ended up seeing that the guy who plays Jonathan from the first movie, who inherits the house, who I really liked his performance, is in this movie too. Now I'm hoping he's actually in this, and it's not just archival footage from the first movie, like a Puppet Master, The Legacy type shit, because then I'll be mad. But there's a guy that you can't really see who he is, and he's standing in pentagram, and the woman in leather, she comes over and tries to give this jewel to him, and he's like, oh, that's what I needed to be freed, or something like that. She crosses the pentagram. He's like, oh no, don't cross the pentagram, and the delivery's terrible. He disappears, and then this appears in the pentagram. Please tell me these aren't the ghoulies. Please tell me this isn't the design for the ghoulies for this movie. Because that's going to be very hard. It almost is as bad, it might be as bad, as the medieval dwarfs from the first movie. And you know how I feel about them. So I'm hoping this is just like some other thing that was summoned for some reason. Jesus, I didn't even wait for him to talk. I paused it as soon as I saw them. One of them's talking like he's a black dude, and he's just saying like, yo, I can't believe we crossed over, yo, and then the other one's like, let's get out of here, and they fucking scramble away. That's how the movie starts. And then we're at the credits now. Okay, no, yeah, Jonathan from the first movie is definitely in this, because the actor's name, I can't pronounce his last name, it's Peter Liapolis or something like that, is first one, like top biller. So it's not archival footage. Thank the Lord. The score is pretty good. I like the music and the score and the opening credits. I'm getting real mixed signals just from the first few minutes of this movie. But the biggest question at this point in time right now is, what the hell are these? Because I am praying they are not the main ghoulies in this movie. So at least I'm in a good mind state for watching this movie, because after suffering through some ads on HIV medication, I had the random thought that if this was the movie Final Destination 3, and we were looking at a photograph of one of the characters, my character, the bedpost here, it would signify that I'm going to get impaled in the head or something like that. That's nothing to do with anything, but I had nothing else to think about during that commercial. So we got this detective, and he has a new partner, and they're doing a stakeout for some criminal, and he ends up robbing this convenience store, and detective ends up shooting him dead. Now, I can already tell I like this character. Like, I just like his personality already. Much better than Ghoulies 3 with the main dude, Skip. I mean, they named him perfectly, because you can just skip past everything to do with him in that movie, and you wouldn't miss anything. This guy's much better, Detective. So since I haven't seen those ghouly things in a while, I ended up looking it up, and it was because it was bothering me why they're talking that way One white, one's a black dude, one's like this creepy white one. Tony Cox is the one who plays Black Ghoulie, and they actually call it Ghoulie Dark and Ghoulie Light for the white one on IMDb, which is hysterical. And while also doing that research, it seems like these are the Ghoulies, folks, for this whole movie, and I don't like that one bit, because it said that whatever company Wynorski worked with and produced this movie, they couldn't afford to do the puppetry and to work the puppets or afford them at all for this movie. So they have actors playing the Ghoulies. I don't like that idea at all. So I'm getting very up and down vibes with this movie and quality so far. Jonathan. Detective Jonathan. That's our main character. Which makes sense completely, because that's Jonathan from the first movie. He looks completely different, like almost 10 years later. But yeah, so we got Jonathan all this time later, and we have this ex-lover of his that's also a police detective or something like that, named Kate. Told you, that's why I like this guy's character early on. I said, yeah, I like this guy. It's because it's Jonathan. Liked him in the first movie very much. All makes sense now. Okay, so demon dude with the robe from the beginning, his name is Faust. I mean, like the play, but it's decent. Cool name for him. And girl in leather, her name is Alexandra. And she offers like her life to him, said, I failed you and stuff. And he says, no, there's another jewel. I want that jewel, the one that Jonathan's got around his neck. And says, go out there and get it for me, otherwise I'm going to kill you, like slowly, painfully, and it's going to suck every step of the way. So hey, 10 minutes in or so, there's your plot synopsis. Apparently Jonathan and Kate used to be lovers. They broke up because he wanted to handcuff her to the bed. She's not into that shit. Like, this is an actual conversation they're having while driving. Alright, while there's more ads that I'm sure are interesting as hell. So I had an idea. I'll probably do it, like, tomorrow or something, like, with these 4 Ghoulies videos. For videos that I did on franchises, like a while back, like a year plus before I started editing and stuff. I mean, I don't know if people prefer one style or the other, the old one or this one with the edits and stuff, but whatever. I'm not going through like 800-900 films I've covered, so I'm not going to redo all them. That's insane. But I feel like there's like a standard now I want to keep things to. So I might go back to some of those franchises, like Jason, Friday the 13th, Halloween maybe, Nightmare on Elm Street, all like the bigger ones, Evil Dead, and just edit them and put pics in and link them all together into one mega video discussing the entire franchise. So let me know if that's a idea that you guys would be down with. Be like a little event every now and then, just like a multi-hour conversation on the entire franchise of whatever franchise it is. So, movie stack on. I really can't believe this is the Ghoulies we get, and these are the voices we get, but, God, I don't know. We do get archival footage of the first movie, and we see an actual fucking ghoulie. That's what a ghoulie is, not what these things are. But, see, told you, even though he is in this movie, we got that archival footage. Alright, I mean, if you haven't seen it, and I don't know many who have seen Ghoulies 4, I have to play their voices. Just listen to this.
Hey, man! He's the key to get us out of here! Come on, let's follow! Follow me, let's go! Come on! Alright, let's look at this. Watch that first step, okay?
Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell is this whole decision? If they couldn't even get this, I mean, if I get it. I know very much that it is a low budget film. If the company couldn't get the budget to even work puppets, to have the Ghoulies puppets, even if they're the oversized, insane ones from the last movie that aren't like the first 2 films, don't make a movie. Don't make a Ghoulies 4. And that's just, it shows that this isn't written to its budget. Like, at all. They shouldn't even have Ghoulies in this film. There should be something completely different. But they decided, fuck it, we'll just throw 2 actors in ridiculous costumes and have them talk insanely. And we'll continue to call them Ghoulies. I don't like that. That's the biggest by far, are you kidding me, flaw in this movie so far. Detective Jonathan is driving his car. Both Ghoulies are hiding in the back seat. They're having full-on conversations. He doesn't hear a word of it. Alright, here's a good comparison, maybe, I guess, with my warped mind. Having them portray the Ghoulies as just black and white dudes in costumes is like making a child's play film and you don't have the money for the puppets. So you cast a Mexican in a red wig to play Chucky. That's how bad this is. Like, that's how different the Ghoulies look, that you can't even call this a Ghoulies movie. I'm sorry. Like, this is just way too far of steps taken past the line of believability. Much like the last movie, the situational awareness for the characters are absolutely atrocious. There's a guy, the partner of Jonathan, driving his car. Angela, whatever, the leather woman. That's the name from now on, leather woman. She ends up, she's in the back of the car. Again, like the Ghoulies were in the back with Jonathan. She's right in the back seat and she's like blowing on his neck a few times and he's going like this. You don't realize there's a full-grown human being right behind him. I don't know. It's insane. It's not the same girl, right? It's not Leather Woman. It's some other, like, lover or someone who's trying to get close to Jonathan because he falls asleep, she steals the jewel off his neck. Does she just think it's pretty? Or is that like another form of Leather Woman or something? Is Leather Woman a demon? She doesn't seem like one. She just seems like a regular woman. So I don't know how any of this makes sense. And then we get even more archival footage from the first film with Jonathan at the altar in the basement while screaming in the basement, and it's still pouring rain from the ceiling down on him. So then one of the ladies, Monica, she's driving her car, and I'm guessing it's Faust, right? It sounds like his voice, the demon dude who's trying to get resurrected. But if he's trying to get resurrected, then how is he around and doing shit? That doesn't make any sense either. But whatever, let's just assume it's Faust. He tunes into like her radio in the car and keeps switching back to a certain station where she can hear his voice, and then like a ghost car, he starts taking control of the car, and she's like swerving in and out of traffic, and then she ends up just crashing into something, and the car explodes in a real overdramatic way, which there's no reason for like an explosion anywhere near this big, or maybe even one at all. Want some more Ghoulies trivia and stuff added to the mythology that you never asked for? They actually have names in this. The black one's name is Robot. The white one's name is Zeus. That's the Ghoulies we have here. Honestly, the Leather Woman is creating more havoc and chaos and destruction and hurting people than the Ghoulies in this entire film so far. Like 45 minutes. It's mostly her just taking charge and doing stuff. The Ghoulies, I don't even think they've killed one person. They knocked somebody out with a pipe. That's about it. They haven't killed a single person. So then smart Leather Woman, she ends up calling Jonathan, having the partner when she was in the backseat earlier, and he didn't notice that breath was being blown on his neck and that a person was behind him. She ended up kidnapping him, and like he's like hanging up, tortured a little bit, I guess, and has him tell Jonathan to come meet him at this warehouse, which is where the beginning took place, where the pentagram is, and they got to summon Faust. So I guess they're luring him in here. So apparently Leather Woman was in an asylum and she ended up escaping, and now she's trying to serve Faust. I mean, that's something you don't hear every day. Then the partner is brainwashed or something, or possessed, or who the hell knows at this point, and he ends up fighting and trying to kill Jonathan, and then we get this stupid fight sequence between the two of them, and this whole vibe of this warehouse that they're in. I know Charles Band left this series like 1.5 movies ago at this point, but real heavy demonic toys feel like the original demonic toys. Feels like they're in that same like toy warehouse. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same set, because Wynorski would use sets from older movies and stuff all the time. So I guess Faust is like still, he's not fully gone, but he needs it's the jewel of knowledge, by the way. Needs the jewel of knowledge to fully come and stay in this world, but like he says he's fading. So I guess he was able to control that car like that earlier, if that was him, but they don't know where it is. So he says, fetch me a sacrifice, and they end up bringing the partner, who for some reason in the fight sequence a little bit ago, he looked normal. like normal as can be. Now he has like horns and he looks possessed completely. So whatever. Looks actually decent. Now that I'm looking at it, doesn't look too bad actually, the makeup on his face. But he ends up saying that that girl who took it off Jonathan earlier when he was sleeping has it, and now they got to go find this bitch. All the ghoulies have done in this movie are just walk around and just follow the characters. Like, it's a very boring film. At least stuff was going on in Goes to College, but this is very boring. But there are good aspects to it, like having Jonathan back, and I like his character still in this. Kate is a good character too, his ex-lover, fellow detective. She's cool. The music was good. The score's good in this. Besides that, like, I would never watch this again. Like ever. Like, are you serious? I would never suffer through this again, or I would never recommend this to anybody. I even had to like really look to find this movie. I mean, it was on Prime, but it's on Prime like given away to anyone who wants to suffer through this. With the freebie ads and stuff, it's not even like on a specific subscription or channel on Prime. It's just, here you go, take the film. So it is what it is, but this is not good. It's very slow. It's very boring. Let me tell you something, too. This is the 4th time in 4 ad breaks, almost at the end of this movie, that I have had to suffer and watch through this real specific HIV medication commercial. Alright, so they kidnap the girl who stole the jewel. They bring her for a sacrifice for Faust to keep him in the world, or so he can exist in 2 worlds, or something like this. And then Jonathan ends up having another battle like him, just like Return of the Jedi style in the first movie. And all's well in Tinseltown. They get rid of him, and him and Kate live happily ever after, I guess. Then the ghoulies, they're still there. They find the jewel on the ground, or a piece of it, or something like that, and they jump through some time vortex, and they disappear forever. There was supposed to be a 5th one, I read, but, I mean, come on, you can't get lower than this. This was so bad. Like, this was almost unwatchable. Like I said, if you can't make a Ghoulies film with the titular characters of the Ghoulies looking anything like the Ghoulies, just don't make the movie. Like, that's as blatant as I can be. Like, this was just not good. It was very boring. There are some good aspects. It's not something I would throw in my absolute trash movies playlist, but I would never watch this movie again. I wouldn't wish this watching experience of this film on my worst enemy, honestly. I've seen more excitement in a 30-second commercial than I had watching this film. So, I mean, I guess that's why we never got another Ghoulies, right? Ghoulies 4, absolutely dreadful. Alright, guys, take care. But then they'll probably hint maybe that they're still back, but we never got a goddamn Ghoulies ever since. They open their mouth. One of them is talking like he's and it makes sense, actually. Tony Cox is the one who plays the Black Dwarf, making a child's play film, and instead of having the puppets, but without the puppets for Chucky, so instead you get, much like the last movie, the Situlo, she's right in the back seat, and she's like blowing on his neck a few times, and he's going like this, and he didn't notice getting blown